Randall Rudd, everybody, the filmmaker and professor. Having once been an actual child himself, Randall Rudd has fostered his interest in filmmaking and mechanics since inventing a working phonograph with TinkerToys at age 5. His career spans a broad range of creative endeavors, from creating and directing thousands of broadcast projects, movie trailers, and feature movies, to creating theme park attractions and exhibits worldwide. His work culminated as a creative director at Paramount Pictures. Rudd is also an adjunct university professor and animated and performed as the voice of Little Caesar's Pizza Guy and the only known perverted Muppet, Gonzo. That's a bio, y'all. Also, I'm really looking forward to this because at the Trekkie, I'm loving this presentation. Folks, Randall Rudd.
All right. Anyway, I could have been spoken to you about philosophical or enlightenment, but instead, I wanted us all to have some fun together and talk some trash and spill some beans. Now listen, I'm going to take you guys way behind the scenes in the entertainment industry, and we're going to start right at the bottom.
The world's greatest.
Oh, Vicky.
I didn't know you were still doing an intro. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready this time.
Ready.
I'm ready, I promise. Okay, we're going to start right at the bottom, beginning with Siegfried and Roy, the two greatest liars of the last century. They cooked up the idea of some spectacular illusion and then tried to sell it to the networks as a TV special. But rather than actually try and figure out how to do it, they relied on their special effects guy, me, and the gullibility and trust of you, the viewers, when they fed you outrageous lies. Watch this.
The world's greatest illusionists, Siegfried and Roy, are going to attempt one of the most incredible illusions of all time, the disappearance of Sleeping Beauty's castle. Let me repeat, there are no camera tricks involved here, no editing, no pre-recording. Everything is happening just as you see it.
This is the first time I worked with Siegfried and Roy. We were all in the edit suite reviewing the unedited footage when that god-awful disclaimer came up, and I turned to the show producer right beside me and said, seriously, how are they going to do that? And he said, so the producer stares at me a beat and then says, I'll tell you how they're going to do that, kid. You're going to do it for them, you fucking idiot. And he says, what do you think this is, magic? So, William Shatner, the hardest I've ever laughed in my life was when he filmed a spaceship crashing into the sea for Star Trek IV. Hundreds of onlookers watched as Captain Kirk gallantly hung onto the downed spacecraft, but the combined violence it generated from the giant wave machines and the wind machines proved too much, blowing poor Bill Shatner into the water tank, as we'll see here. Right here is where Kirk went airborne, losing his grip, his dignity, and something else. Eventually, our noble captain surfaced, red-hot angry and stark raving bald. On the left is the closest thing to Kirk's glowering expression as he made his long walk of shame past hundreds, defying anyone to so much as snicker. Not a soul made a sound until his trailer door slammed. I have never heard laughter like I heard at that moment. Paramount Pictures' 75th anniversary, I was hired to modernize their iconic logo, which is based on this actual mountain peak called Artisan Roju in Peru. We created this massive set on a soundstage and used a huge robotic crane to simulate a flyover approach into our set, eventually clearing our mountain peak by only a few centimeters. And here's how the logo looks in theaters. It was a really big deal at the time. In the original version, our camera approached over the lake, paused for a beat to let the computer-generated stars fly into place, and then continue over the mountaintop. One problem. Up close, our snow looked like oatmeal. We tried everything imaginable, nothing worked. That is, until the day I was rushed into the stage to see the miracle of miracles. Utterly convincing snow. When I asked how did these McDonald's sacks were all over the set, I was told our perfect snow is actually microscopic, biodegradable plastic bubbles used to thicken McDonald's milkshakes. Yeah, feel free to gag. That guy in the upper left is Uncle Hank Ehrlich. He was the king of the Paramount lot who made me design the company float for the Hollywood Christmas parade. This is the only way Southern Californians know it's Christmas. I rode with the cast, spinning around for 90 minutes, giving hand cramps from giving the Vulcan salute, which Leonard Nimoy cannot do. Our parade was delayed 20 minutes because Santa went missing until the cops found him fall down drunk, missing his pants in the Tropic Room bar. It took forever to get half-naked Santa on his float. Someone threw a red blanket on him and off we went. About all belligerent Santa did was sort of wave and cuss at the kids, but his interview on live TV is the stuff of legend.
And here they are with Santa Claus, I hope, is coming to town. Merry Christmas, Santa Claus. Can you hear us? Same to you. How's Rudolph?
Right.
Ho, 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 guy.
Now, at the after party, I was sitting alone at a banquet table in a far corner when Jimmy Stewart and his wife Gloria asked if they could join me. I was still in Starfleet uniform, so Jimmy asked what planet I'm from, and I answered with San Antonio. He said, "Oh boy, did you hear that, Gloria?" Then they launched into this amazing adventure with a local real life Indiana Jones guy named Tom Slick, who led a successful expedition to Nepal to steal a mummified Yeti hand from a Tibetan monastery. But when he couldn't sneak it out of Nepal, the Stewarts volunteered to smuggle this sacred treasure in Gloria's underwear. She felt it safe because a British customs officer would never open a lady's lingerie case. And she was right. Now, pandemonium is the only way to describe this Oscars when they moved from the Shrine Auditorium back to, they moved to the Shrine Auditorium. Limos became gridlocked in traffic and streets became parking lots. The race was on for celebrities vying desperately for exposure. They ran, they pedaled, they fought their way to the red carpet. Area Pioneer chicken stands were filled with diners watching as ghetto children lucky enough to have the bikes had $100 bills stuffed in their pockets as celebrities like Nicole Kidman and a pregnant Glenn Close wobbled off pedaling in elaborate gowns, and some of them were crashing. Meanwhile, the unusually shallow slope of the orchestra seating meant attendees were not allowed to take their seats until station breaks, since they could block the cameras. Movie stars like Cher, unaccustomed to being told no, got so furious their loud protests and cursing could be easily heard on the air. Meanwhile, show host Chevy Chase had the crowd in hysterics, pretending to relieve himself on the curtain during station breaks or standing behind his podium, clothed only from the waist up. Oh, while the smart kids had paper routes and sold Girl Scout cookies, my first professional job was playing a monster in the worst movie ever made with the worst gimmick ever attempted. First, the critics slaughtered the picture on release, so Ray Dennis Steckler, our infamous producer-director, resorted to bloody vision, where monsters, me, came out of the screen to eat you alive.
Human monsters who drew river, moaning for the prevent. See the hunchback of the midway, fighting to death, the incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed up zombies.
That was me, by the way. Now, as a zombie, I would roam past the rows of parked cars at drive-ins, shuffling and growling, zombie style. One night, I asked my boss, what would that whoop, whoop, whoop sound was I heard? And he said, that's the sound of dozens of beer bottles whizzing past your head, kid. You almost died. He said, you need to wise up, get a paper route, and do something sensible. I said, what, and leave show business? All right, well, there you have it. There you have it, folks. In one lifetime, I went from being The Walking Dead in a horror picture to being a Walking Dead creative director at Hollywood Studios. So I loved every minute of it, and I love every minute of tonight. Thank you so much. All right, so far so good.
So far, so good.
We haven't rehearsed the questions part, so bear with me.
None of it's rehearsed. I'm still coming up with it, right now at the moment. And therefore, the first thing as I'm thinking, when I knew that you were doing this one, and I found out, you were on Star Trek 4, the Trekkie that I am, all the best Star Trek movies, 2, 4, 6 of the original cast are directed by Nicholas Meyer. Why and how he is a director, because you're in the production side of things, how did he run a set in such a way that made how was your experience working with Nicholas Meyer in order to make for such a great movie with with the nuclear vessels and things? Some of y'all got that joke.
Was that a question?
That was a question. What was so great about Star Trek 4 other than Shatner losing his toupee and you got to witness that?
Well, I can tell you. I'll tell you something interesting about it. William Shatner was not going to appear in it unless he got to direct Star Trek V, which explains why it honked. Yeah.
Yeah. Meyer 2, 4, 6, Nimoy 3, Shatner 5. Yeah.
The black hole.
Yeah. What does God need with a spaceship? I don't know. I don't care. I don't know what God needs with a spaceship. What does God need with a spaceship? I'm just gonna pontificate for this one. I'm taking too much time. Other than that,
Since you asked,
I can spend too much time on Star Trek about this. Other than that, there are so many things that made the cut in this. Yeah, what's another story that didn't make the cut in this?
Oh, a very proud moment for me. A group of producers came in. They had a picture that was in serious trouble. They had been in productions for 6 weeks, and their director decided that the actor is not the person that they should have for the main role. And they said, oh, we need you to make a car fly in the picture, and we're really desperate. Can you help us out? I was working on another picture called Explorers at the time, and I had the intelligence to say to this guy, no, we don't want to do Back to the Future and fly a DeLorean. That was me. See, I honked too. Okay.
I think that did it.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Randall. Thank you for the video, everything. Great job.
Thank you.
Ooh. Randall, come back. Yeah, you've been asked. You've asked. Say pizza, pizza.
What now?
Yeah, say the little Caesar thing. Make the Caesar speak.
Pizza, pizza.
There we go.
Hey, guys.